Hi, welcome back, and thanks for joining me again today. Today we're going to start on question 5, and the question is, where did Cain get his wife from? So we know the story, how Adam and Eve, they had Cain and then Abel, and then Cain rose up and killed his brother Abel, and as a result of that, he was banished and sent out, and Cain was not real happy with the deal, and it says that he went off to the land of Nod. Now have a listen to what this says, and this is in Genesis chapter 4, verse 16 and verse 17. And it says, Then Cain went out from the presence of the Lord and dwelt in the land of Nod, or the land of wandering, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And, so people say, well, how did that happen? How did Cain get his wife? See, the Bible just doesn't make any sense, because here's Adam, then there's Eve, they had Cain, then Abel, Abel was killed, and then Cain was kicked out, and he walks around the corner over the next hill, and there's a woman there waiting for him. And that's the natural understanding of the process, but yet that's not how it happened. We read about the life of Adam, and it says that how Adam, right until, for a ripe age, he was still fathering children, and they estimate that there was about a good 800 years of Adam's life that he was fathering children. And we're talking about a serious rooster right here. But we talk about when the scripture says that God said, be fruitful, multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and this multiplication is exactly what happened. So if you were to do the math of over 800 years of fathering children, and by then the first few line of children also multiplying, we're seeing that there's going to be quite a number of people. You might be thinking then, well, this involves incest here somewhere. Well, I'm glad you thought about that and mentioned it to me, because we're going to speak about this possibly even tomorrow. And so where did Cain get his wife from? The reality is that we're speaking that from the time where Cain was banished to the time he found his wife, we do not know exactly the time frame, but it wasn't the next day. It's not almost like, he, as I said before, that he's walking away with his head dropped and his bottom lip sticking out, that God sent him away, and he gets over the hill and he just sees this, oh, here's my mama. And, then he knows her, has relations with her, has a child, and just think, wow. But that's how we can tend to read it, but that's not really how it happened. We do not have the exact time frame between the time when he was banished to the time that he met his wife. And so, we need to be very careful how we read Scripture. We can't read it like a courier mail. We've got to understand that there are times and seasons, there are distances in between chapters, and we need to carefully read that. And so understand, but that time where Cain was banished and he had his wife, there could have been hundreds of years involved in that. And if you were to think again, just purely on the multiplication of humanity, multiplying on the face of the earth, I'd say he had a few to choose from by this stage, at least anyway. So anyway, join me tomorrow, and I'm going to speak about this very thing that people say, well, if incest is a sin, obviously if the Bible is true, then how did this all work? And to me it was a bit of a stumbling block as well in my years before I came to Christ. So join me tomorrow, because it's very, very interesting, at least I think anyway. So be blessed and have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.